Good morning. The time is 6:32 on December 13th. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Happy Friday. You've almost made it through your work or your school week, but let's go to meteorologist Kelly McShane because it is raining outside and you have a lot to prepare them for. Rain jackets, rain gear, rain boots, the whole 9 yards.
Yes, all of it you're going to want because we are going to continue to see that rainfall. We're starting off the weekend on a soggy note. Unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be the trend this weekend. Check out satellite and radar. Most of the rain sticking towards the eastern counties, towards the West Virginia and Virginia borders. So we are starting to get into a little bit of a dry period, but don't let that fool you. More rain, unfortunately, is on the way, and we are just seeing rain this morning. Temperatures above that freezing mark, even on top of the higher elevations. Black Mountain is at 36 degrees right now. So overall, just seeing rainfall. Temperature is going to warm up this afternoon, but we are significantly warmer than we were this time yesterday. For your Thursday, temperatures were much colder. Today, we are in those 30s and 40s like you just saw. So we are going to continue to see rain chances. We'll track those here for you for the rest of the morning, and we do have more cold weather on the way. Now, does that mean snow? We'll talk about it, and we'll talk about any relief that we do see in sight here in just a little bit, Madison.
Thank you, Kelly. Well, yesterday we learned of another Eastern Kentucky man convicted of murder getting out of prison. Before he left office, Governor Matt Bevin signed an unconditional pardon for Delmar Parton. He was serving a life sentence for the 1993 murder of Betty Carnes in Knox County. Investigators found her beheaded and in a 55-gallon barrel. Parton is now 63 years old. And a Kentucky state senator plans to introduce an amendment to the Constitution, reforming the governor's pardoning power. Republican Chris McDaniel says if the governor wants to use the power to commute and pardon sentences, he should be held accountable. The plan comes after Governor Bevin granted hundreds of commutations and pardons in his final days in office. Senator McDaniel's proposal would eliminate pardoning powers for the month leading up to an election, as well as the time between the election and inauguration. Some of the pardons granted by the governor have not been without controversy. Fayette County's Commonwealth's attorney says Bevin's actions have undone their work.
And in many of these cases, juries consider. And these are not easy decisions for people to make. I mean, a great amount of time goes into not only the prosecution, but into juries.
Senate Minority Floor Leader Morgan McGarvey is expected to hold a news conference later today on Governor Bevin's final pardons. And according to the Courier-Journal, he is expected to call on Attorney General-elect Daniel Cameron to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate a pardon made for a man convicted in Knox County. In that case, family members of Patrick Baker hosted a fundraiser for Governor Bevin last year. And a campaign promise becomes a reality with the signatures of Governor Andy Beshear. Yesterday, the governor signed an executive order restoring the right to vote for more than 100,000 Kentuckians. Those people convicted of felonies have served out their sentence, but would not have that opportunity to vote again until yesterday. Nick Oliver talked to two people happy to see their rights returned.
Governor Beshear taking pen to paper in just his third day in office. Some felons are heading back to the polls.
Years after they've paid their debts, on election day, they're still forced to stand on the outside of the voting booth looking in.
The promise of this executive order was made on the campaign trail. The decision affects 140,000 convicted felons of nonviolent crimes.
Some crimes are so awful and inflict so much emotional trauma that we owe it to the victims and the survivors for those crimes not to restore that right to vote.
Many of the people inside the Capitol say this has been their Christmas wish year after year.
I've come a mighty long ways, and I'm not the same person that I used to be then.
Juan Gomez robbed a gas station for cigarettes 17 years ago. He served his time and has been out for years. His voting rights have been returned as of today.
I'm a 68-year-old veteran of the Vietnam era, and I could go and fight for my country. When I come back, I couldn't vote because I made a mistake. It's a real bad feeling. It's a bad feeling, but it's a great day today.
I think it's a double jeopardy for a person to serve their time and then come back as a full citizen once they get their rights back and still be locked out of the democracy.
The governor says he now hopes to make this a constitutional amendment to protect his order from future governors. At the Capitol, Nick Oliver, WKYT.
The governor will also look at requests when making his decisions. Requirements include a felon completing their sentence by serving all of their time and paying all restitutions. An illegal battle could be brewing as Governor Beshear makes a major shakeup on the State Board of Education. Yesterday, the new members were sworn into the board, and shortly after, they received a letter of resignation from Education Commissioner Wayne Lewis. 10 of the 11 members removed from the board tried to have the swearing in stopped. However, their motions were denied. They are challenging the executive order signed by Governor Beshear, removing them before their term expires. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman says the move puts public education first.
Back to a time where public educators and public education systems are put first by people who have done the work and who have a proven life experience doing the work of public schools, and those are the folks who should be making these decisions. This is not political in any way, shape, or form.
It is not clear what the next step will be for the ousted members, and they tell us they still have to decide whether to keep challenging the issue in court. And if you are looking for a job, getting behind the wheel might be a good option. The truck driving industry is seeing a shortage. In 2018, the industry needed roughly 61,000 drivers. I took a look at how you can take advantage of the opportunity here in the mountains. Driving the roads. It's what truck drivers do daily.
Very few people want to get in a truck and drive for a week, 2 weeks at a time, or just drive every day and be home every night.
But it is an industry that's experiencing a shortage.
If you come to this class, I can pretty much guarantee you that if you want to work, you'll go to work.
Hazard Community and Technical College is seizing the moment. Jennifer Linden, president of HCTC, says a good opportunity for people right here in the mountains.
It's perfect for those who have been maybe laid off from the mines. If they're interested in going back and doing something and getting back into employment quickly, then commercial driver's license CDL training is a great option for them.
And what may be driving some people away?
If you think you can't drive a standard shift, please, let me tell you, you'll be the first ones that will pick it up. You pick it up a lot easier than someone who's been driving for 10, 20 years of standard shift transmission.
Jeff Stidham, CDL program facilitator, says should not stop you.
It's a good life for your family, or if you're a single person.
From getting behind the wheel and taking to the highways. Now, if you are interested in truck driving, HCTC offers CDL classes at both Hazard and Hyden locations. The next class will begin in February. And 2 churches in Floyd County are praying for whoever was responsible for vandalizing their church vans. First Assembly of God in Martin and Allen Baptist Church both discovered catalytic converters missing from their church vans earlier this month. The theft comes on the heels of a similar issue with the Disabled American Veterans van in October. Church members say the act says a lot about the state of mind the thief was in.
It's just sad that the individual or individuals felt the need to have to steal from church. It's just a bad time.
Church members urge drivers to be cautious of any leaving their vehicles unattended. And a grand jury will hear the case of a Knox County man accused of running off with a child and hiding in the rain. We first told you about Christopher Stute's arrest on Tuesday. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf on Thursday. Deputies say he ran from a home with the child following a domestic dispute. Someone found the toddler alone in the woods more than 1 hour later. Stutes faces a host of charges. And a Laurel County deputy responding to a welfare check says he found a 7-year-old boy living in unsanitary conditions. Now a woman is behind bars. They found trash everywhere and bugs crawling on the floor. 38-year-old Candace Seller lived there with a child. Deputies say a neighbor requested the welfare check, expressing concerns about the child.
Well, I mean, if you're a citizen and you see a situation like this, or you become aware of a situation, or somebody just tells you about a situation like this, then law enforcement or social services needs to be notified so we can check it out.
The welfare check expressing concerns about the child.
Candace Seller is charged with 3rd-degree criminal abuse.
We are continuing to see rain push through the mountains. However, starting to dry out for most of us. Pike County, you're still seeing a little bit of that rainfall, and folks into Virginia near that border, that's where the majority of the rain is right now. Everybody else looking to dry out. You're going to want to enjoy this break because we're going to see more rounds of rain. But temperatures, we are in the 30s, upper 30s at that, so we are not seeing any wintry mix or snowfall this morning. Higher elevations are also in the mid 30s, so we are good. We are just seeing that rainfall. Temperature is going to continue to increase this afternoon, and we're going to see those showers taper off a little bit for lunchtime, but chances ramp back up to about 80% heading into the later afternoon, early evening hours. And I will map out everything you need to know for the rest of the weekend coming up here in just a little bit.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. Here's a look at what's ahead. A fire tore through a family's home in July, and Josh and Davina Baker and their 3 boys made it out, but they lost everything else. Now they are rebuilding.